And then okay, all right. So I think today we have only two. So let's quickly, I'll explain the theoretical part about some time. So let's see the practical of this concept tomorrow. So
Sure.
today we are going to talk about the cloning. Okay. So when I say the cloning, anyone know what you mean by in general? What do you mean by cloning?
Don't know.
Sorry. Okay. So cloning is a basically in general the meaning of term called cloning is nothing but copying. Okay, it's a copying. So in rman copying of the database from one database to another database, this process is called the cloning. The process of copying one database to another database is called the cloning. So that can be in the same server, that can be in a different server. So source database, where the source database is located. And suppose we have a source database called production, PRD. And then suppose if you want to copy the production to dev or test or UAT, so we have to copy the production database to different server. This process, this whole process, we call it as a cloning. We'll call it as a cloning. So we can achieve it by through the rman, using the rman. So let me quickly pick the paint and then share. So suppose I have a production database here. I have one server. This is called server 1. This is called server 1. In server 1, I have a production database, and there is somewhere server 2. So assume that it's a empty. Okay, assume that it's a empty. Now the copying of production database to this server. Suppose here let's have the dev or UAT or test. Okay. Now the process of copying production database to dev or some other database, this we call it as a cloning. This process we call it as a cloning. So how can we achieve this copy process? How can we achieve this? By using the RMAN. By using the RMAN. So I mean, using the RMAN, which are all things we can do, right? So which are all things we can do by using the RMAN utility? So we can back up, we can restore, we can recover. Excuse me. We can recover the database. So this whole process, we call it as a cloning. Let's see highlight steps what are involved in this process. It's a very simple process, but in real time we may get regular requests for this. Okay, for doing cloning, it might be weekly basis or monthly basis. Whenever clients ask, hey, could you please perform the cloning from production to test or dev? So you should be able to do it. So it is a one more regular task that DBA will perform. That DBAs will perform. All right. Then we'll see the what and all some major steps that are involved in this. Okay. So here cloning process. Okay. The process of cloning database using RMAN involves restore a backup of source database to a new location. That can be a new server or wherever, and then recovering it. That's all. And then recovering it. This process is called the cloning. This process is called the cloning. Now, what are some simple steps to do it? So suppose, what are the things we need to do perform? So here we have to restore the backup, right? So to restore the backup, what is the basic thing we need? We need the backup, right? We need the backup. So if we have the backup only, then we should be able to restore the backup. So we have to take the backup. So which database backup we have to take here? Which database backup we have to take?
Production database.
Right. We have to take the production database backup. So since we are going to clone the production database, we have to take the production database backup through RMAN. All right. Then we have some backup pieces. So we have some backup pieces. Let me pick up this. So first thing, take the production database backup. Production database backup. And then store the backup or store or copy or whatever. Copy or move the backup to the new location or shared location where server 2 can access. You understood this point, right? Second point. So once we take the backup, those backups, those either we can move to the server, we have to move to the server 2, or we can place on the same server where server 2 can access that particular backups. Where server 2 can access the particular backups. And then so what else then? Once the backup is been done, once the backup PK pieces are moved to the server 2, then we have to take the backup of P file, control files, and move them to target database. So let me clear on with terminology here. This is a source database. Okay, server database is a source database where we are actually cloning from source DB and this is target DB. Where which server we are, which database we are going to clone. Target database. Source database is from which database we are cloning, and target database is nothing but to which database we are cloning. This is from, this is to. From which database to which database? Source database to target database. So in real time, you always refer like this: source database and target database. So take the backup of P file and control files and move to the target database. All right. Then what you have to do is, then you have to modify the P file according to the new requirement. So what are the parameters we modify is, so you all know about the P file, right? What and all things it have. So here we will modify we will add the DB file name convert DB file name convert parameter and log file name convert parameter, and we change the database name. So as per our requirements, we add the few parameters and we modify the few parameters in parameter file. So where this step will be done in target database. In target database. Now, what would be the next step? So once this is done, we bring up the database. Startup amount. We bring up the database in startup amount. And then what we have to do is we connect to one auxiliary instance to rman. How to do this? Rman auxiliary slash, and then restore and recover the database or duplicate the database. That's all. These and all are the major steps involved in the cloning process. So if you focus this step, you know how to take the production database backup. This step, you know how to copy the backup pieces from one server to another server. Then you know how to take the backup of P file and how to transfer them to the target database. Then this file, while we doing the practical, I'll tell you how to change, how to add this. Then startup, how to bring up the database in startup normal state, you guys know. Then what is auxiliary instance? When I explained about the RMAN, I think I've explained the auxiliary instance catalog and everything. But again, as per your knowledge, so auxiliary instance is nothing but one temporary instance which we use for the cloning purpose. So whenever we connect to the database, we always use the RMAN target like this, right? So we use the RMAN target. So basically it will connect to the database which is opened as of now. So if we give the auxiliary instance, it will connect to the database which is in no mount state, and which is a temporary instance. Once the restore and recovery is done, we no longer need it. That instance no longer would be existed. So RMAN auxiliary instance means it is a temporary instance which is used for the cloning purpose. You remember that. Okay. And then restore and recovery. We simply give the restore database and then recovery database. To skip these, if you are not familiar with these two steps, you can directly perform the duplicate database. There are two types. One is restore and recovery, and another one is duplicate database. And also, and this is the major steps involved in the cloning. And also, there is another method. You can clone the database without taking the backup. Without taking the backup. So how can we do this? We call it as a duplication of database from active database duplication. Active database, that is, from you don't do anything on source database. From target database, what you have to do is you need the connectivity to the production database. So if you run the duplicate command here, it will directly start copying the files from here to here without the backup. But in real time, no one will suggest to do the active duplication because of the server load would be more on the production database. What happens if server load is more? The database, it causes the database slowdown, database performance, right? So we always use the cloning based on the backup. So these are the some highlight steps what I have given. So connect to the target database to take the backup. Okay, connect to the source database and run the rman backup command to create the backup of source database. Okay, how can we take it? We can just take the backup database command. Then copy the backup sets to the new location, that is a new server. So connect to the destination server and create a new Oracle home and database instance. That is nothing but in new server, you have to install the Oracle software. If not, we can clone the Oracle home also. Then set up, once you install the Oracle home, rman by default, it will come. So you have to set up the rman. And once this is done, you have to connect to the auxiliary instance. Then you can directly give the restore database and recover database. These are the steps. These are the main steps involved in cloning. So do you guys understood what just happened here? So what is the process of cloning? Still have any questions? So as I told today, I just explained theoretically. I think tomorrow or after tomorrow we do it in practical. Okay, we do it practical, but it will take some time, around 30 to 40 minutes. So we'll do it practically next class. So you guys understood, right? What is a cloning? So if you have any questions, you can ask me. And apart from this, what I just want to discuss is I sent you one document yesterday, guys. Have you gone through this? Anyone?
Yes, Banu.
So you guys are understanding? You guys are understanding this theoretical explanation, or still facing any issues? So what I want is you guys have to go through this, and you guys should come up with any doubts or any questions, or if you don't understand anything, I'm here to explain you again and again. So this is some major interview questions. So the main goal of this is to understand the concepts. Okay, so so here when some interviewer asks what are the things you do, what are the responsibilities you perform in your project, then you should be able to do you should be able to tell that, right? You simply can't finish the course and you simply can't attend the interview directly. So parallelly with the course, you should know the knowledge. That's why I always telling that keep practice. You cannot achieve anything if you simply attend the classes and if you simply close the laptop, something like that. You should sit on it. You should practice on it. You should get familiar with the topics. You should get familiar with the concepts, and you should get familiar with the terminologies what we use. If you have any doubt, you just Google it. Okay, you Google it until you get. If you don't get, you just ping me. I'll able to help you at any time. So make some practice, keep practice, and keep. I expect you to read or by heart or understand anything this document, so that once this document, if you've gone through this document, you should be able to understand the Oracle architecture and everything. So at least 50 to 60% of knowledge you will be having. You will be having the confidence along with this. All right. So please go through this, and we'll start the mock interviews from coming week. So I'll be taking the mock interviews. There, I expect each one of you to open up and to discuss. All right. So once this cloning is done, we'll be having the very few topics that can be covered in 4-5 days. So we're almost done with 70% of the course. So you please practice this and be prepared. I'll be taking a lot of mock interviews. Okay. All right. Any questions or any doubts as of now? If you don't have anything, I think we can drop up today. So since it's a very small topic, and since the crowd is less, we just gone through the theoretically. We'll do it practically tomorrow. That would be more interesting. So all okay, right, guys? Okay. Okay then. Yeah, we'll meet tomorrow. I'll let you know if I come to the institute. So we'll meet there again. Okay. Okay, guys. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you.